Customizing Data and Pricing, Part 3, Truss Editor. The PostFrame Manager Truss Editor will edit existing as well as create new truss inventory items. All of the attributes contained in the editor enable the program to determine which trusses should be chosen for the building you are currently creating, and calculated on your invoices, reports, and bills of material for that specific sized building. This calculation is based on many different factors such as post spacing, truss spacing, wind loads, live loads, and so on. If you are unsure about any of the attribute setting requirements for your trusses, consult with your truss manufacturer for detailed specifications. All of the information you will need is always available from your truss supplier. From the Products Catalog Editor screen, choose the third or Truss Editor tab. As the name implies, Truss Editor is where you enter or alter the information currently in your system for any individual truss. Just select a specific truss from the drop-down list at the top of the screen labeled Choose Truss. Note that this is a pretty long list, and there are multiple trusses listed for every span because of different on-center spacing, overhangs, if separate overhangs are desired, pitches, and truss types. For example, for standard gable or interim trusses versus structural gable or end trusses. First, we'll discuss making changes to an existing truss. After selecting a truss, you will see the attributes for that truss shown on screen. You can make any necessary changes to these attributes by changing the information shown in any field. Take a look at the Dimensional Items window. Click on any dimensional item, such as heel, or the truss heel height shown in the drop-down windows to the right. Change the overhang or any other dimensional items the same way. Note that a code relative to what each item means may appear in the lower left-hand side of the screen as they are selected. If your selection is not yet implemented in PostFrame Manager, that information will be detailed there. By highlighting each option, make any changes you want. You can change the pitch of any truss in the Pitch Control section of this screen. Engineering characteristics or loadings are detailed in that section of the screen. Change the price by simply entering it in the price box to the right. When you have completed making your changes, click the Accept button shown. Next, let's talk about adding an additional truss to your data set. It is easiest to first select a truss in your database that has similar characteristics to the truss you want to add. Edit that truss information and save it with a new name. For example, your new truss may have a 24-foot span, but with its own spacing, overhang, or loading criteria. Select another 24-foot truss from the drop-down list and edit the information that pertains to that truss. After you find and click on a truss that is similar to the one you want to add, click the Next button located adjacent to the 10-digit SKU ID window. Doing so will give your new truss its own valid program ID number. Note that if you do not click the Next button, the program will overwrite the existing truss information, and accordingly PostFrame Manager might not be able to find it later, which will result in an incomplete building calculation. Rename the truss by typing over the existing name. Then make any necessary edits to the truss attributes. Pay attention to the web brace or web lateral count. That's the window in the middle of the screen, as these will output with bottom chord lateral bracing on your materials list. These are the braces that are mounted to webbing, which generally applies to wider buildings, as opposed to the laterals mounted to the bottom chord of the truss, which are handled via the wing attribute screen. See the PostFrame Manager Menu System Overview instructional video for more information on this topic. Finally, give the truss a new descriptive name in the OEM Info window. Then click the Accept button. Note that the Write Database button is used for technical support, so there is no need to ever click that button. The Delete button is obviously used whenever you want to delete any truss. However, as with other data categories, you might find it easier to simply reuse a given truss by changing its attributes if you also need to enter more trusses. Note also that if you have a large number of trusses to enter, the support staff at PostFrame Manager have tools that can enter the information quickly. You will, however, need a support package to facilitate this service. One final note. You can adjust the prices of every truss in your truss database, first entering a percentage increase in the box at the bottom of the screen, then clicking the Adjust Price of All Trusses button. This is a handy feature when you need it. The final tab on the Products Catalog Editor screen is labeled Truss Search. You can ignore this tab as it is used for technical support. This ends the Customizing Data and Pricing Part 3 Truss Editor instructional video.